is not good enough that we can get in a scoring contest with some of these teams. Our defense has to be better. And the game was really hard tonight from the standpoint of we had to go against Florida State's set defense. They played well. They made some threes. We were struggling, so they were constantly playing in transition against us. And then we consequently then had to play against their set defense. And that's not what happened in game one. We were able to defend them better, especially in the second half. We were able to play in the open court, beat them down the floor, make some plays in the open court. I'm interested to watch the tape. I thought we got a lot of really good shots. I know we took a lot of threes, but they force you to do that some with the way they guard. They get into the ball, make you penetrate a little bit, and then they come running to help, and you got to be able to make some decisions and kick it out and move it, and guys got to be able to make some shots, and we didn't do that. And so I'm anxious to watch. We only had 12 turnovers. They had 14. We did get to the free throw line and made 22 out of 26. But obviously the 4 for 24 in the first half. And then unfortunately my guys that started the second half did not do a good job, and the game got away right at the beginning of the second half again. Questions?
Coach Joe Gorcho, WIS TV in Columbia. After a third straight loss by at least 18 points for you.
Hang on. I'm sorry. Can you start again? I couldn't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I got you. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, Coach, Joe Gorch, WIS in Columbia. After a third straight loss, what do you kind of tell the guys after a game like this where it's another one that really got out of hand quickly and you guys are trying to pump the brakes on this free fall you guys are on right now?
I didn't say as much as you would think right now. Obviously we got to get this fixed, and I think there's guys in that locker room that care enough to want to do it, but it's not going to just happen. I think we probably have played, in my guess, probably the two of the three best teams in the league, and Georgia Tech's really good too. Virginia and Florida State are really good, and Georgia Tech is hard to play against as well. And so, we haven't played very well, and those teams have really made us pay. But at the same time, I've told our guys we've had some, we played some really good basketball for couple months. And, we just got to get back to kind of figuring that out again. We've lost our way a little bit. We've lost some energy. We've lost a little confidence. We're not getting as productive a play off the bench. And we're playing teams that are playing really good. And so we got to figure it out, and we just need to get back to practice and do it.
Brad, this is Larry Williams. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
When you say y'all have lost some energy, can you maybe elaborate on some insight into that?
Just that I think that, anytime you get smashed a little bit like this, you can lose your confidence a little bit. And sometimes when you're not as confident, you don't have quite as much juice. You don't have quite as much bounce, and then when things don't start well, like I thought we were ready to play and into the game, but you can't make a shot, it puts pressure on you, and you start to question some things individually. It's hard on your team. It puts a lot of pressure on your defense, and you just don't get as much juice. We're not stealing the ball from people and getting easy baskets, getting things, knocked loose to get anything easy. That hasn't really happened in these 3 games. And so we're constantly having to grind on both ends of the floor, and we're just not doing that very well. And the teams we're playing are quality teams, and, we've got to figure some things out. We just got to play better. But it's, I don't think it's any one thing. I mean, I do think our defense has been the biggest culprit in this, the most disappointing thing, but I think some of it is a result of, we're putting a lot of pressure on it because of our poor offense or lack of shot making.
I know you're not one to make excuses, but how much do you think the COVID quarantine part played a factor, maybe losing some of that chemistry you guys had developed up to this point?
It shouldn't have played any factor in chemistry. A little bit in terms of like just routine and you're playing well and just confidence that comes from that. But, it shouldn't be no factor in terms of like our playing making shots, missing shots, doing our job.
Brad, this is Matt. Do you feel like one of the biggest issues has been that when shots aren't falling, things start snowballing and then guys
Yeah.
aren't able to kind of dig their way out?
Yeah, I do. I think that's a big issue. I think, in the Virginia game and this game for sure, you could just sense that. And then the other teams are making shots. The other teams are, and it's giving them more energy. We've given up 12 threes tonight, 15, 16, whatever. I mean, when you're making threes, when you have shooting nights like that, guys are bouncing around on their toes. The basket looks bigger. It makes you guard better. I mean, you gain a lot of juice, from dunks and threes. And, and consequently, when you're kind of getting some open threes and you're not making them, after a while, a couple of, but when you have about 5 or 6 in a row, it's a little demoralizing, and I think that's happened to us. And then we're not getting any easy baskets to kind of helps the situation or keep us close. So now you're playing uphill against a team that's got a lot of energy and juice and confidence, and it doesn't go well.
Hey, Brad, this is Will. Just curious to what's different about Simms these last 3 games, and why do you think his production's dropped?
I'd have to look at them all. I thought today, I said something to him early in the game. I said, hey, man, you need to slow down. Like, he playing too quickly, trying to drive things a little. Like, he had one drive that was really bad that he drove a play. I know he's trying to make a play. I think some of it is he's trying to make a play because our team is struggling. And a little bit, like tonight is a tough matchup for him when they switch every screen, and he's not a big guy. And so like their wings can kind of front him in the post a little bit. They got such big guys around them that it's not like you can lob it over and have him take advantage of the mismatch. And so it's not as easy to like get him the ball in a game like tonight as you would think or hope. I didn't think he played quite as bad against Georgia Tech. And I can't really even remember and don't want to remember the Virginia game.
That being said, how do you go about when you have a leader like Simms and in your experience getting guys to not press when you're going through a slump like this? What's the trick to getting guys to settle down?
Absolutely. I think, Al is really struggling right now. He had a groin injury that we really didn't talk much about, that he just kind of is beginning to try to feel a little bit better, but he wasn't moving real well the week of the Virginia game. And then last Georgia Tech game, the last day, I thought it looked a little better in practice. So he hasn't practiced as well. I think he's been a step slow, and he really hasn't played very well in this stretch. And Amir hasn't played as well maybe as we would like. And so that's put more pressure on some other guys. And, that's hard for our team. We just don't, I think we have a lot of guys, I've said all year, I think we have some good depth. I think we have a lot of guys that can play, but I don't think we have like 3 superstar players that can just go get us 15 or 20 points in a game. That's not how we're built. And so it does put a lot more pressure on our bench. And we've had some games where our bench hasn't been able to do very well. And, that's the last couple games, that's been a problem.
Do you kind of have to balance being frustrated with the way the last 3 games went, but also trying to build confidence back up and telling your guys, look, we've done a lot of good things this year, and looking at what you're capable of?
Yeah, it's a delicate balancing act. We've done a lot of both in the last, week, reminding them, like we've watched film of what some of our great play. I mean, we've put together clips of like, hey, guy, here's why you beat Alabama, and here's what it looked like. Obviously, before this game, we showed a lot of good defensive clips of like, hey, this is what we did against Florida State, and this is how we need to do it again. And here you are making plays. Here are some offensive plays that resulted in good defense. So it's, certainly we're watching the film and trying to teach and provide constructive criticism on things that we're doing poorly. But at the same time, we are trying to show them, hey guys, remember, this is what we've done when we do things, like we're coached to do, and we're prepared, and we follow our plan and we play with energy. This is what we can be, and this is what we have been. And so we're just in a little bit of a rut right now. We got to figure it out ourselves and work our way through it. And I'm hopeful that our players are going to want to compete. And there have been some times within this 3-game stretch where they've kind of given in a little bit, where they've, felt a little sorry for themselves and it hasn't gone well, and that's normal. Or sometimes you, not only do you feel a little sorry for yourself, but you try to do more than you can do, and you force things and it gets worse. And I think that's problematic as well. As you sometimes feel like you're out there on an island when things aren't going well on both defense and offense. And this is a game where you have to play as a team. You got to utilize your teammates, and obviously, like, your communication, your energy, all those things, that level goes down when it's not going well. And so to try to encourage guys to keep that up is a big part of it.
Probably have time for a couple more.
Brad, if there's any silver lining to this, is it maybe Chase Hunter getting into a rhythm there? Get some
I hope
confidence.
so. I think John and Chase are two guys that we need to start playing well for us. And I think John and Chase had a better game today, making some shots, and John has done a little bit better the last couple of games. I was disappointed in his defense against Georgia Tech, and he had a couple mistakes defensively tonight. He's got to be more sound. But their energy level, they're two of our better wing athletes. They have speed, they have athleticism, they can match up physically with some of the better physical teams in our league, and we need those guys to play well. So hopefully, yes, that's going to be a positive. Those two guys beginning to turn it on for us. When we won this game against Florida State 3 weeks or a month ago, those two guys both came off the bench and played pretty well. And so I think that's a big factor in our team moving forward.
Brad, kind of along those same lines, are there any guys that you feel like, and maybe it is those two, that you feel like need more run, or you want to give more opportunities that you feel like they've earned it with their play today or lately?
No. PJ has struggled defensively in the last 3 games, and he struggled mightily today. He's behind on some things. He doesn't understand some things. He's making some errors that are giving up threes and giving up dunks and layups behind him. And we got to help him. We got to coach him better. And maybe we got to simplify a few things for him defensively so that he can be better. I think he's going to be a great player for us, and he shows some things on offense that help, but he's really struggled, in the last couple of games. The last 2 games especially he had some trouble. And so we got to make sure we're helping him, because we need him to play well. His 12 to 15 minutes right now for our team, I think, is really important. And again, I've said this to you guys a lot. That position is involved. Like in tonight, I don't know how many ball screens he had to guard, but he was involved in a bunch. And that position is vital for your defense. And that's an area he's struggling a little bit with. I'd like to get him playing a little bit better, more consistently, so that we can do a little better in that area.
Okay.
Thank you.